Get it, Ginger. Get the fuck out of here.
Ginger, they are gathering out there. Come on, Ginger. The animals have come in.
Easy. Easy, motherfucker. Easy. Easy.
30 seconds.
Ginger, let's fucking go.
You sorry yet, motherfucker?
Easy
I told you,
now.
crack ass.
Do not fire. No, don't fucking fire. Do not fire. Fucking around. Start, you fucking moron.
Come on, man. What the fuck are you doing, man?
This famous scene, Who Goes There, from Cary Fukunaga's True Detective, directly depicts the chaos and the abusive police presence in the trap. This terrifying scene gives viewers sincere depictions of the violence and despair that undergirds trap music. Trap music is criticized by those who claim trap music solely boasts money, women, violence, and drugs. They fail to realize trap artists' use of grimacing beats and violent lyrics to express their life story. The goal of trap music is to share the struggles of the inner city citizens and eventually set them free from the systematic trap they have found themselves caught in. As trap music continues to gain popularity, many Americans unaffected by the trap will become more aware of these struggles. On that note, I present to you Warfare in the Trap. The war on drugs is especially present in the city of Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta is the center for drug trafficking in the East Coast. Reports from the U.S. Department of Justice indicate that the Mexican drug trafficking organizations continue to use the Atlanta region as a leading drug distribution center in the eastern United States. During the antebellum period, many of the railroads throughout America ended in Atlanta. Following Sherman's march, which led to the complete destruction of Atlanta, the railroads were replaced with highways. This, along with the presence of the Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport, made Atlanta the ideal location for the drug trafficking hub of the East Coast. Due to the high presence of drug trafficking and its street patterns, Atlanta gave birth to the trap.
Because the beats. Atlanta is some trap shit. Trap is some Atlanta shit. That's where trap come from.
Okay.
Trap suits, trap house, busting the trap.
You can't make trap if you're not from Atlanta, to you.
No.
21 Savage would go on to say, what makes trap music is a content. However, the trap is not only a mental concept, but rather also describes the terrifying drug trafficking scene in Atlanta.
It's an Atlanta concept because Atlanta was developed around railroads. So there's a lot of one-ways and dead ends. So when you pull into a one-way or a dead end, you go down to the end of the street where they're selling dope at. That's a fucking trap. Because if they draw down on you at the end of the street, you're fucking stuck.
As mentioned before, trap music effectively portrays to its listeners the savage environment and the struggles of living in the Atlanta trap through the use of dark, harsh beats and aggressive lyrics. Trap artists demonstrate their hustle and grind to get out of the chaotic trap which keeps so many individuals in the lower economic state they're in. The root of this issue is that there are systematic issues keeping younger, lower-class people and African Americans from finding success. Trap music has become a reflection on the lifestyle forced upon many Atlanta citizens who revert to life's simplest pleasures such as drugs, sex, and materialism as a way to ignore the harsh realities they live in. Although there is much violence amongst Atlanta gangs, one common enemy among the constituents of the Atlanta trap scene is the Atlanta Police Department and the Drug Enforcement Administration. Many of these trap artists receive a lot of heat from the police and express their frustration in their songs. Trap music exploits the law enforcement's erroneous ways of going about the war on drugs in Atlanta, which in effect keeps these systematic issues present. The Atlanta Police Department and the Drug Enforcement Administration try to decrease the impact of drug trafficking in Atlanta through a violent and aggressive manner. However, this only destroys and separates family members away from each other. In effect, kids in these environments grow up with the mentality as the cops as the enemies, not your protectors.
In a lot of ways, that's what makes us concerned.
The feds did a sweep, picked the dogs up like an infant. Got 13 bodies, got 20 some damn victims. Burn the eyes out of witness, put your hood on chitlins. Cry the years I got privilege, see the way my dogs living. They always got it done.
Trap music expresses the sentiments felt by many towards the police force, which has created an alliance amongst these community members against the Atlanta cops and the DEA.
It's just with me, you'll see more niggas than an NFL hunter. Grandmas, uncles, aunties, sisters, cousins, and brothers, mothers, and they all bustin' for trouble. Junkies going off straight yam like dog, ready to cut you with a machete, fuck you. And any other nigga who sneak this is on the track.
Rather than approaching the issue of police brutality in a peaceful way, trap artists express themselves in a violent tone. Trap music portrays the hatred and anger felt by many as they direct shots back at the cops in a fiery manner.
Where I'm from, young niggas shooting at the cops. Where I'm from, they thuggin'. My hood, right side, nigga, green flagging. Lay your ass down if you do too much bragging. 3Ks.
The violent retaliation from the trap has led to this continuous chaotic environment. The abusive police force has created a barrier among these citizens and themselves.
About what I can tell you, because a lot of that stuff is, it's I can't tell you some of that stuff because it is an active investigation. Right. But it's the guy that got shot really did not want to say much.
What about other people? Did anybody explain what? Nope.
Probably 100 people outside when it happened. Nobody saw anything.
No.
Due to the lack of cooperation amongst the civilians and the cops, the ATPD and the DEA have been unable to make much headway in diminishing the drug trafficking scene. Trap music established cooperation with the cops as the ultimate sin, making the act of snitching a hate crime against the trap community.
I just need you to go ahead and write your confession right here.
I'm not writing a damn thing.
No?
Hell no.
Why not?
God, that ain't my motherfucking job. That's yours.
Coach, wake up. I need you to tell me one thing. Where you get the dope from? The what? The coke. Casino.
Yes, Finland Clip.
I don't like to play, the tough guy or anything like that, because I'm not really a tough guy. You standing right next to him. That ain't your homeboy? That ain't your homie? You're a bitch. Man. Just running your mouth, huh? Oh, fuck me. Just give me a name.
What's your name?
Don't worry about my name. I know your name, your full name. Mon Davis. Oh, you going to sleep?
I'm drunk and a nigga down with. I'm on that slaughter gang shit. Murder gang shit. Slaughter gang.
In order to ensure that the trap stays alive, members in this community will eliminate its weak links. Any trapper who has any suspicion of getting caught by the police will be exterminated to ensure that the DEA and ATPD do not destroy the trap system.
And when all this happened?
This shit just happened.
And you just came here?
Motherfucker did what?
Man, you keep doing this clown shit, bro, man. Like, for real. All your Instagram buddies and shit, bro. You about to get us caught up. Get up out of here, bro. Man. Free my niggas.
Feds to the street. Real niggas linking up. Trail niggas linking up. Link up, my nigga, let's link up. I just
Man, get it, man. Man, bury that nigga, man.
Listen, give me 20 more thousand. We're gonna put 50 on him.
100 on his ass, goddammit. Get his ass out of here.
Hello. What's up, nigga?
Okay, the target's on the phone with the gentleman.
That nigga, Jay. Yeah, he gotta go, man. That nigga tripping. I don't even trust him. And then Casino don't trust him. And then, you know, he put 100 on him. But I'm keeping 50 of them. He gotta go.
When the fuck y'all got that? He don't give a fuck about you, man. He don't give a fuck about you. He's trying to kill you.
According to the Trap Rappers, it takes a real one to be a successful plug in the streets. As 21 Savage puts it, the streets have no heart and will destroy you if you cannot handle the heat.
Can't handle it. Soon as he get caught with a brick, he start telling shit. That's why I finesse every new nigga try to buy a brick, but I won't let you play me, nigga. I'm the king of pulling tricks. I don't try nobody, grip the trick, nobody.
Despite the violent stance on the war on drugs in Atlanta, the Atlanta Police Department and the Drug Enforcement Administration has failed to decrease the impact of drug trafficking. Reports from the Department of Justice indicate that Atlanta is still the leading distribution center for powder cocaine. Heroin distribution had been historically confined to a section of the city known as the Bluff. Within the past years, however, heroin has been increasingly distributed from the residences, apartments, and hotels of other parts of the city. The production of marijuana and methamphetamines has greatly increased since 2008. Not only has the ATPD failed, but they have also continued the cyclic process of the trap. Despite however many people the police department locks up, there will always be individuals to ensure that the drug trafficking scene in Atlanta is alive and present. Trap music in Atlanta inspires the trap constituents to continue hustling and grinding in order to sufficiently support their families. Not only does trap music have a huge impact on the trap game, but also inspires future generations in these communities to follow their footsteps.
Every time I leave the house, bring at least 10 groups, cause it's 2 or 3 stacks just to park my whips. Got a small amount of niggas, but a large amount of clips. And a blue big coupe, same color as the Crips. Seen mug on my face, nigga, I ain't that funny. 60 grand on the Jake, nigga, time costs money. Got a $250,000 play, that's 18 blocks. If the cops try to whip me, man, I ain't gonna stop. I'm a real street nigga.